Hello! Thank you for tuning in to Tech Talk Tuesday. My name is Brian Mursky and I am the owner of Veranda Technologies. We're here in Brick Township and we service the Monmouth, Ocean, and surrounding counties in New Jersey. So this week we're going to talk about a topic that we actually don't do a lot of here at Veranda. We know an awful lot about it. People ask us about it all the time. It certainly fits under the premise of technology talk. So this week we are going to discuss web identity, domain registration, domain names, web presence, and web and email hosting. So, and by the way, we don't do it a lot, but we can help in transitioning. We can certainly point in the right direction and be a great source of consulting. We just don't host websites for people. We don't build websites for people. And we will get to that a little bit more later in the video. If you have a business and maybe you have a website and, or rather you don't have a website but you have email and you're using AOL or Yahoo or Gmail or one of these other free, easy email platforms that are out there. They're wonderful and I don't want to knock them, but they're nowhere near as professional as having your own presence, right? I mean, if you own a company, people like to see, like Brian at verandatech.com. We can use that as our identity. It's not Gmail, it's not Yahoo, it's us. It's verandatech.com. Again, those others are great. They work. They're just not, certainly not as professional. They're also not as scalable. If you grow your company, the flexibility that comes along with having your own, where you can have any prefix at verandatech.com, right? I can set up any other name at Verandatech. I can have marketing at Verandatech. I can have advertising at Verandatech. They can forward to different people. So you get a tremendous amount of scalability and flexibility in having your own identity. You also get more professional appearance, outward appearance. The problem people have is they don't know what it takes to do that, right? So there's a few stages or steps involved in having your own web presence. You need a name. You need hosting, or a place to put what you're going to put out there. And you need content. So we'll break those down. We'll talk a little bit about each. First thing you need is a name. This is one of those times where size does matter. You want a short name. You do not want a very long website address. Now, we happen to have verandatechnologies.com in addition to verandatech.com. There are a few reasons for that. We don't publish the verandatechnologies.com address. I wanted to have both so that somebody else couldn't register it. So part of it was just protecting that name, and it's not expensive to do. Domain names run, by the way, between $8 and $30 a year, depending on who you register it with, which registrar you go with, and there are hundreds of them out there. So you can email us and ask questions. We use one called domainmonger.com, just like to the name 10 years ago, domainmonger.com. So that's where I put my domain names. But you can register them anywhere you want. You want a short, easy, memorable domain name that relates to your business. So Veranda, our company name is Veranda. It's named after my two girls, Veronica and Miranda. The company name is what it is. I needed that domain name, right? I wanted verandatech.com. It was available. I protected it so nobody else can have it. And now it's our identity. It's how people know us on the internet. You want to avoid using dashes and symbols, anything that's going to make it harder to tell somebody a domain name. And you don't have to be a .com. You can be a .net or a .org or one of many other suffixes that you could put after a domain name. .com is the de facto standard. It's what people type by habit, so it's the best. You really should try to stick to a .com. So think of the domain registration as the listing in the phone book, right? It's your phone number and your name next to each other. It's nothing else. There's no content associated with it, and there's no phone, there's no house for the phone to ring in. It is just that directory listing, period. That's why it's between $8 and $30 a year. Once you have a name, you need a place for that name to live, right? It's got to live somewhere. There needs to be a server that you put content on. there are many, many places you can host websites. If you have a website built by a company, and we'll get to content in a minute, they will often host it for you, or you can go out and search for web hosting or email hosting. Now, by the way, you don't need to host your web and your email in the same place. So ours is at the moment, but in the future we may go to Office 365 for our email, in which case email could live somewhere else. So email could live here, website could live here. The domain registrar, where that domain name is registered, which we talked about first, points. So if you're looking for the website, go here. If you're looking for the email, go here. Basically a directory. Like I explained, the registrar is the directory. The hosting is the house where that phone would ring, right? So somebody looks up your number in the phone book, they get your number, they dial your number. Where's it ring? Where's the actual phone located? So that's your hosting. Those prices can range. I mean, I can't even give you a ballpark. They can be all over the place. It depends what it is you're going to do with your website. We pay a few $100s a year for hosting for Veranda Tech. Based on the number of pages, the amount of traffic we get, we have a database set up for our mailing list program. So it depends what you're going to be doing with it, what kind of content you're going to be housing. It would certainly cost more if we sold products on our website, because then you need a security certificate, you need the right processes in place to protect credit card information, because people are going to be submitting payments. So you get into that. Informational websites are easier, certainly. Our website has 15 or 20 pages on it, and it provides information about what we do, the services we provide, who we are. And then you have domain registration, right? You have your identity, your name, your likeness. You have hosting. Now you need content. What are you going to put on your site? What is it you want to tell the world? How many email addresses do you need? Are you going to be selling products? What is it you're going to do with that site? Again, we don't work with content. Most of you watching this video know us through places like the Brick Chamber of Commerce and business community development groups throughout Ocean and Monmouth County. So you probably know Wingman Planning, good friends of ours. They can develop content for your website. They can help redo your website if you have it. So Wingman Planning would be a great resource for content discussions to take place. And if you build a website with somebody like a Wingman Planning, they'll host it for you. They can also help with the registration. But I just wanted to break it down because there are three distinct pieces to having your own identity, and it gets very confusing for people, and a lot of people don't understand how the breakdown works. So that's why I wanted to kind of explain it and explain that the registration, again, is simply a directory listing. It's nothing more than that. The hosting is the house. It's the place where you're going to put stuff, and then the content is the actual stuff, and that's really all you need. That's what it comes down to. So if you have a business, you probably have an idea of what you do already and what you would want people to know about you. It's as easy as that, starting putting ideas on paper. What you want your web presence to look like. That's really it. It's easy. It can be affordable. Depends on, again, if you're going to sell things, you need a shopping cart, and that could get a little more complicated. But it's really all we have for you this week. Just wanted to break it down. Again, we get asked the question a lot. We're going to do a video in the near future, by the way, on securing your website. That's also changing the way. Primarily, search engines like Google are changing how they categorize sites based on whether or not you have a security certificate attached, and there's some additional costs that come in with that. So we'll talk about that in maybe not next week, but a future week coming up. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in to Tech Talk Tuesday. If you have any questions, please shoot them to us at Brian or helpdesk@verandatech.com. See, there's our identity again. You can visit our website at verandatech.com or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/verandatech. Have a wonderful week. We will see you next time on Tech Talk Tuesday.